Oh, yes. For me, brisket has always been the white whale, the thing I have never quite mastered. I'm always trying to improve, and over this last year, I spent time taking classes from some renowned Texas Pitmasters. I've been reading some books, and now it's time to put some of these tips and tricks to use and see if I have improved on my brisket game. Here we go. Here we have just over a 19-pound brisket. This is a little larger than I normally like to start with, but this deal was too good at my local grocery store, so I couldn't pass it up. If you want to see my process for trimming briskets, check out the video listed above, and it will give you an in-depth breakdown of my process for trimming brisket. So here we have the fully trimmed brisket. For our rub, we're going to keep it simple. We are going to go 2 parts 16 mesh black pepper, 1 part diamond crystal kosher salt, and 1/4 part granulated garlic. Gonna go ahead and mix that up. Now it's time to season the brisket. Got this on my big tray. I don't want to lose any of the seasoning if it were to fall off. Just gonna grab it by the handful, get it liberally coated. You can use a shaker bottle if you want, but I find doing it like this is a better approach. Get more of an even distribution. Also, don't forget to hit your sides. I'm doing this a day ahead. I'm going to let this hang out in my refrigerator overnight. It's going to dry brine. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I'm a big fan of dry brining beef. And then in the morning, before it goes on the smoker, I'm going to hit it with an additional rub. I'm not using a binder. Feel free to use a binder if you want. I have used hot sauce. I have used mustard, pickle juice, all kinds of stuff in the past, but my approach these days is simple. Keep it simple. The reason I do it on this tray, I'm not going to lose anything, and whatever sticks to the meat is what is meant to be there. Got my brisket all seasoned up, sitting on this elevated rack so air can get all around it. It's going to hang out in the refrigerator for about 10 hours, 11 hours, and then we're going to get the smoker cranked up and get this party started. One overnight dry brine later, we're going to hit it with Goldie's brisket rub. The idea of applying a second layer of seasoning was presented to me by Evan Leroy and Lewis. It is a really good way to build bark on your brisket. I've had my fire running for about an hour. I've got the cooker all warmed up. Brisket is on. I have a water pan down below with this baffle plate running here. It's going to radiate heat up to the bottom of the brisket. The water pan is just a way to counteract this from overcooking the bottom of the brisket. It'll start to shred if it's overcooked. You also notice I have a blocking log here. The heat is coming under the baffle plate and coming up over, so this will just help it to rise up and not just batter this point real hard, and it'll kind of ride over the meat as opposed to just hitting right here. So we're going to maintain temps at 200 degrees for the first 3 hours, and then we'll assess where we need to go from there. We are exactly 3 hours into this, so let's go ahead and take a look. There we go. Nice and pillowy, fat. Oh yeah. Nothing's getting crispy. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm going to reload this water pan. We're now going to bump the temps up to 225 degrees. We're going to let it run for about 2 hours. Then we're going to start checking the temp. I just want to get a feel for where the meat is. Make sure nothing's getting too crispy. If so, I'm going to spritz it with some apple cider vinegar. 5 hours in, still looking good. Nothing super crispy. Let's check this edge here. Yeah, maybe just a bit. This edge feels real nice. This edge towards the back, facing the back wall. Little crispy. Little tip I picked up from Chud's Barbecue. These nozzles fit on this bottle. No need to mess up a spray bottle for just a little bit. But I'm going to hit that corner just a little bit. I'm going to refill this water pan. And go ahead and get a temperature reading. I know it's not done. I just kind of want to know where I am. I'm going from the side. All right, so that is 150, 149. And that is about 160. So about 10 degrees difference between the point and the flat. I'm going to let this go. We've also got a little bit of pooling right here. Nothing major. And by pooling, all I mean is that when the fat starts to render, it starts to build a little puddle right here. So we can tip this, drain off anything that may be on there, because that's going to keep the bark from building. It'll have like a kind of a lighter spot right there. So we don't want that. Just to protect this corner back here, I'm going to take this little piece of tin foil. I'm just going to kind of cup it underneath. We're not trying to cover up everything. We just want to keep the heat from the back wall blasting this and keeping it from getting any more crispy than it already is. So that is a way to do that. We're going to let it ride for another hour or so, and then we're going to probably rotate it and bump the temps up just a little bit. We are 7 hours into this cook. You can see we are into the stall. Fat is starting to render. So there's about a 3-degree temperature swing between the point and the flat. So I'm happy with that. I had this tinted with foil here. You can see it's a little light here, so I've pulled it off. I've moved the tint, the foil tint back here, just in case that's getting crispy. So everything seems nice. There is a little bit of crispiness right here. You definitely don't want to spray the entire brisket. It's just going to cool it down. It's going to stretch your cook times out. So find the crispy bits, spray those, and then let it roll. Since we are entering the stall now, I'm going to bump temps up to about 260 degrees. I don't want to go any higher than that in this small cooker. Things will get a little too crunchy, crispy. I've used this cooker long enough to know that going past 260 into the 275, 300 range, that's only for when I really want things to crisp up. So I'm going to hit it about 260, try to bump through the stall, and then we'll look at wrapping. We have passed through the stall. It is now time to wrap in butcher paper. So I'm going to show you how I do that. First, you want 2 pieces of butcher paper, roughly about 4 feet long. I'm going to go ahead and wet this down with some apple cider vinegar. It's going to help to make it more pliable. And there we go, looking good. I'm going to put down some tallow underneath it. This is just going to help keep things a little moist. So now I'm going to fold this up. Right here, we're going to tuck these ends under. I'm going to take this and fold it in. There you go. Going to roll it forward. Snug it up. Make sure everything's nice and tight around it. And so now the fat is upside down. We're going to fold this in. Get it nice and snug. Roll it up. And then tuck this in. You want it as tight around the brisket as you can make it. And that is all there is to wrapping a brisket. Now we're going to go back on the cooker. So what I've done is install the upper rack in this cooker. The reason for installing the upper rack is I'm getting it away from the deflector plate down there, which is going to overly cook the bottom. And since heat will be radiating off the top, it's going to continue to help this fat render. So that's what I'm going for. 13.5 hours later, we are done. Hit an internal temperature of 199 degrees. It was probe tender. That was all I was concerned about. Not necessarily concerned about what temperature it was. Game plan now, let it come down in temp to about 150 degrees. And I'm going to hot hold it in my toaster oven right back here overnight. And we are going to slice into this tomorrow. It's going to be good. One overnight rest later, let's see what we got. One tip I picked up from some pitmasters in Texas is to leave it wrapped in the paper wrap that in plastic wrap so that when you're warm holding it, it's not going to release any of the juice. Everything's going to stay inside. So let's see how that little trick works. All right, let's see what we got. Woo-hoo! Oh man, this is nice and tender. Yeah, man. All right. Got some jiggle to it. About right here. Where the fat, where the flat will separate. Okay, moment of truth. There we go. Woo! Looking all right to me. Oh, I'm pretty pleased with this. Let's go ahead, trim this off for some burnt ends. All right. That is looking pretty good. Super pleased with how this turned out. Let's check out the flat. It's time to try this. Try burn in first. Ooh, yeah. I'm always surprised that pepper, you think it's going to be way too much pepper. It's going to be super kind of spicy, but it's super mellow. Almost gets kind of sweet in a way. That's really good. One thing I'm very happy with that happened on this, I have struggled in the past with getting this fat to render properly, but from everything I've read and everybody I've talked to that knows what they're doing, once you start seeing this kind of caramel color on the fat, you know you've done it right. And yeah, it's sweet, it's succulent. There's no way I would ever suggest removing this, because I know some people see fat on a piece of meat and they want to cut it off. You are missing the boat if you do that. My favorite piece of meat from the point, the fatty part of the brisket. Wow. I will tell you, this cut of meat is my great white whale. It's very expensive. I certainly don't want to mess it up, and so I'm always hesitant to give it a try. Maybe I've done a dozen of these in my life, but I think I'm finally unlocking the door to making this really good. So I'm going to have to experiment with it more in the future. If you are new into the barbecue world and you are considering giving brisket a try to employ some of these tips I've shown you. They're definitely working for me. Oh, yes. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, consider giving me a like, a subscribe, or drop me a comment. I would greatly appreciate it. Every time you do that, it helps to push me out to just a few more people, so help me to continue and spread the word. And as always, get up, go out, cook some good food, be a little bit better tomorrow than you were today, and I'll catch you next time.